Welcome to Thankful Thursday. I am Bernina expert Amanda Murphy, and I'm here to give you a little lesson in ruler work today. And as usual, Instagram's not working. Instagram's like the bane of my existence, you guys. Well, after Amazon. Amazon really is the bane of my existence. But and is now my husband's full-time job to get, it in order over there and price controls and all that type of thing to protect from all the fake stuff that's out there. But anyway, I'll get off on a tangent, so I have to stay focused. And I was digressing. I was going to do something with leaves today. It's kind of a spiral design, and then I'm going to see how it goes because I haven't done this before. I haven't done this design, and then oh look. After that, I will. The next time I see you, I will. Hello, Georgia. The next time I see you, which will be next week. No, it won't be next week. I have to think about this. The next time I see you, I'll probably explore doing something, a similar motif with semicircles with a different type of curve, because that will give a different look. So next week, I am at Quilt Festival, and the week after that, I'm at Atlanta Sewing Center. And because of the hurricane, this terrible hurricane that was in this part of the US, the Southeast, there's still a few spots open for that. So, you guys, if you would like to take a class from me, I won't be back teaching in the Southeast until at least next summer. So, now's the time to do that. So that's, oh, good morning from Christchurch. Hi, Grace from Christchurch. Hi from Vancouver Island. Hi from Texas. It's amazing. We're all over the place. Christchurch was one of the places I taught when I was in New Zealand. So, it's good to see you again. Uh, the next 2 weeks I won't be online, and then we'll do the second and the third Thursdays in November. Instead of the first and third, we'll do the second and the third. So I'll kind of do a makeup one, just like I did last week for the previous week. So we'll do the second and third Thursdays. And I think it's going to be the same for December, actually. I just haven't looked at the dates yet. So teaching. Let me go over live teaching and go over rebate cards, and then we'll get quilting. If you like the quilt behind me, I still have kits in this color story and the lovely blue and orange color story. It's called Moonlit Forest. You can find the kits over on my blog. Remember, the patterns are sold separately because some people like to buy those in bundles, and some people like them as PDFs, and some people like them as printed. So it's just the kit is separate than the pattern, so you can choose your own pattern. Okay, so that's featuring the Flora and Fauna collection, which I'm going to show you more of in a moment. But before that, I forgot to get up my teaching notes, so let me see if I can find it. Let me open Pages and waiting for it to open and telling you where I'm teaching. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. I did all this. Okay, next week I will be teaching at Quilt Festival. I am most of the time in the classroom. I'm helping Bernina out with something, so most of the time I'm in the classroom this time. So I will be teaching my classes plus some other classes on Saturday. All the classes are full. I will be in the Bernina booth on Sunday. So there's a couple of you, I think, from Australia, New Zealand, who said, I'll see you at festival. I will only be in the booth on Sunday because otherwise I'm teaching. Maybe a little bit Wednesday night, but otherwise Sunday because I'll be teaching in long arm room otherwise. Okay, so then next up, I told you Atlanta and Augusta Sewing Center. That is November 8th through 10th. And then I'll be at 35th Avenue in Phoenix, Arizona, December 5th through 7th. I will be at Authorized Sew and Vac in California, January 9th through 11th. I will be at the Creative Center, which I forgot to check if they've posted that, teaching a frame class. So that's a frame class. I want to say it's 2.5 days. I can't really remember. That week of February 3rd through 7th is in that week, but you could find that on Bernina's blog probably. Let's see. Chestnut Ridge, that's in Millersburg, Ohio. That's the 18th through the 20th of March. Hoover's, of course, is April 9th through 11th. And Montevilla Sewing Center, which is in Portland, is April 24th through 26th, and Quality Sewing in Seattle, or actually the outskirts of Seattle, I guess, is May 1st through 3rd. Okay, so that takes us through the first part of the year. Um, yeah, you guys are from all over. So that gives you the first kind of part until mid-May. Okay, so that's one thing. If you are looking for a rebate card in a Brittany, and I say this every single time, but you guys, you know you have to write me before you put money down. I can't backdate cards, right? So you got to put right if you've been influenced and you're looking into a Bernina partially because of these broadcasts. I can send you a rebate card in the US, but you have got to contact me before you buy, and you have to fill out the rebate card before you buy because it's dated. Okay, so they have to see that you knew about me before, or you were influenced by me before. Okay, so same thing for Laura Star. Laura Star's over $7.99. Same thing would go, and let's see. Joanne is not on with me today, so um, if I miss your comment, because I can only see the last 20 or so comments. If I missed your comment, ask the question again at the end. I had a question, anything on the East Coast? Nothing through those dates. It just depends on what dealers are doing big events. Let's see. Atlanta would probably be as close to the East as I'll be. Uh, I'm trying to think of dates that, well, at least through what I said. Okay, so let's see. I feel like there was something else I meant to tell you, and I can't for the life of me remember it right now. So if I come back with it, it will just be out of order. Okay, so today I am quilting on the lovely Bernita Q16. I should have probably oiled it before I began. I turned it on, and I haven't been down here quilting because I've been upstairs quilting. Um, so let me just oil it really quickly because it'll sound happier if I oil it. So I haven't really been up here quilting or down here quilting because I've been working on the cityscape quilts that I'm tremendously behind on. One just went off to market 2 days ago. So that's the thing about traveling internationally. You're gone a long time, so you do get behind. And I already started off this year behind because my fabric came late. Okay. So my whole idea when we were talking, oh, I know what it was. I have to show you applique quilts. So you guys, I have kits for these. You keep asking me to do applique kits. This is my Arbor Walk pattern. And right now, I think I still have kits for all these. So if your dealer is not stocking this line, I have kits. I did it this time because people keep writing me. I don't know how well kits for the applique are going to sell. So we'll see if I do it again. But right now I have kits for that. I kept meaning to show you guys that because they're really pretty. Actually, I should show you the quilting on it. Do you see the pebbles? I did pebbles on this one, but then on the darker ones, I took inspiration from this kind of leaf print and I quilted kind of right on top of the print. Okay, question about the Phoenix 35th Avenue store. I'm teaching ruler work. There's another person, Gail Yellen. I can't remember if it's Gail or Pam who's teaching sergers. Connie would probably teach the 990. It's Bernina people. So it's a round robin for 2 days, and then the third day there's a trunk show that they're opening up to people who can't take the class. But the hands-on teaching is going to be ruler work. The classroom machines are sit downs, although there's a frame you can kind of explore in the merchandise area. So you do, I'm not going to remember, you do top of the line. So you do probably computerized quilting or something like that. And then you do ruler work with me, and you do another domestic machine class, and you do sergers, and you just kind of bring yourself. You don't have to bring much. Some dealers have you bring uh, uh, some dealers have you bring scissors, others don't. So contact the dealership. That's 35th Avenue. Good evening from Vienna, Austria. Oh my goodness, I can't believe someone's contacting me from Vienna, Austria. That's awesome. That just makes my day. I'm trying to get a European thing going. So that just makes my day. So anyway, you guys, my whole idea with that I had the other day while I was teaching you guys was to use the leaves in combination, or the leaves, or a curve, I should say. So I'm going to try this with semicircles another day. But this is my 45-degree marking tool. I have a 30-60-degree marking tool. I did the 35 today just because I think I did the 30-60 last time. And to use this in combination with the leaves. So what if you did a design where I already marked my fabric, and basically I marked it not I wasn't on camera for marking it because I needed an ironing board. So what I did is I put a pin in the center of my fabric, and I marked, the angles, and then I rotated the ruler around the pin and marked the angles on the other side, and then I put these marks over what I had already marked and got the 22.5-degree angle. So I basically got 22.5, which is half of a 45-degree angle, all the way around a circle, right? And I also, while I still had the pin in the center of the fabric, I put a marking pen right in one of these dots. And this one says 2 inches, so it's a radius of 2 inches. And I dragged it around the pin and created a circle. So what I did was I marked an inner circle. So this is the 45-degree marking template. Hello from Norway. Wow. You guys, you're just thrilling me today. Sundance, Wyoming. I heard Wyoming's beautiful. Okay, so do you see what I did? I kind of marked all my spokes, and then I marked a center circle. And my thought was, what if, and I'm actually going to turn on my cameras, and I have not done my nails since I've gotten back. And I probably won't do them before a festival because that is how my life is right now. So you're just going to ignore the lack of a manicure. So I have all these marks, right? And I have the central circle and the center point. And my thought was, what if I took a leaf? And I haven't really worked out which leaf to use yet, but I'm going to talk about it here so you see. Basically, if I went from the bottom of one to the line here, whoops, like to the bottom of the next one. So I'm traveling from spoke to spoke, always inner, outer, inner, outer, inner, outer. In this case, this leaf, which is the 5.5-inch tall one, is probably a little too big. You can see how, I guess I could get away with it. Let me see. This almost just fits this fabric, right? I definitely can't use the 6.5 one. And of course, if I was actually working in a block, I'd be looking at my block size. I kind of am feeling this one today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just talk through what I'm doing first. I'm going to start at the bottom of one of these, okay? And then I'm going to start in the corner of the leaf. And I'm going to angle it so that I end on this line when I get to the top of the leaf, okay? Then I'm going to swing the ruler and quilt to the bottom of the next leaf, right? Then I swing it so that I'll end on this line. Then I swing it again. And I thought this might get kind of a sundial look. That was when I was originally thinking of this when I was teaching you guys the other day. I thought, what about if could you get a sundial? Excuse me. Would it work to get a sundial? And certainly you could have done this before I had the marking tool, but it would have been a lot more work marking it. We're going to use the lines on the leaf ruler and the lines I marked to get this going, okay? So you guys know this is a major, major, major no-no. right? You never ever start with your foot up with the ruler near there. The ruler should be nowhere around, or if you wanted to bring the thread up, the ruler can be kind of loosely around. That's fine. Now, in this case, this ruler, the slot's there to fit around the neck of the foot, so I can start with it out. And it doesn't really matter which one I'm going to start. I may do 2 passes of this. Again, a lot of times I'm so short on time, I don't work it out before I sit down. I'm going to go into BSR2. I'm going to start a really tiny stitch length, like 18 or 19, just for a little bit, so that I lock my stitches. You could also do a little back stitch if you want. I would not bury my threads on this. That's insane. But anyway, it's only a practice piece, right? I'm rotating the ruler. Okay, so I'm starting on that spoke, but then I'm rotating the ruler so I end on this spoke, the next spoke over. Okay, so I did some small stitches. Now I'm going to go down to a more normal stitch length. I think I'm going to use like a 12. Okay, so, and the shape of leaf you use, like whether you use my leaf 2 templates, which are much wider, that's going to affect it. When I try it with semicircles next, or the next time I see you in 3 weeks, we'll see how that goes. So now I'm just rotating and I want to end on the next point. So what the leaf height's doing in this case is determining the final size of this motif. Okay. So I had to rotate it, right? Then I have to rotate it again. Whoops, that was a jump stitch. I'm just going to go back and go over that. See? Okay. Now rotate here. What I'm thinking right now is, given the fact that this is such a point, I probably should have quilted the circle first. I think that would have looked neater. But at the time, I wasn't so sure how it was going to look. Oh, anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay. I thought maybe I won't quilt the circle at all, but right now I'm not loving those points, so we'll see. We'll see how it looks once I've done the whole thing. So I'm in stitch regulation. You guys know, because I've told you before, if you were on a domestic machine, well, all but the 9990, you move much smoother, right? You don't whip around if you're on a domestic machine. So I'm going to go back to BSR2 because I'm not on a domestic machine. So back to the base. And if my ruler slides a little bit, I'm not really worrying about it. I'm just stopping when I come back to the middle of that circle. One more. And what got me thinking about this was how the radius of this curve would affect the design. I thought it was going to look different depending on what ruler I used. And I wasn't really sure, unless I draw it out on a computer, I'm not sure ahead of time. I have to quilt it to be sure. Okay, so I thought originally, what if you did this, but then you did the same? I'm changing my mind here about something. What if you did the same thing around again, right? But now I'm wondering, maybe either I have two options. What if I used um, a, a bigger leaf with this same radius? Or another thing would have been, what if I actually drew another circle around here and used that as the base for the next offset set of pebbles, right? Gloria, to answer your question, I changed it to 12 stitches per inch because I thought it would look a little smoother. Um, so because I didn't draw another line, I think I'm going to maybe change to another size of template. Maybe I'll go up one for the next thing that I'm doing. Okay, so maybe I'll go up one. This is where you experiment. You kind of like learn what goes. It's not like there's a wrong or a right. Now, I should have done tiny stitches, which I didn't do, but like I'm not keeping this forever. This is honestly, I'll probably quilt on top of it another week. A lot of times, I didn't do this today, but like a lot of times, I just put another piece of fabric and quilt it again for you. And if I was doing it by myself, I'd just change colors of thread, but it's too hard to see on camera sometimes. So I did the 4.5 inch. I'm going to do the 5.5 inch. So, and I'm going to go in the opposite spokes this time. So essentially doing the same thing, just opposite spokes. And the fact that it's a different size is, it's going to give me a slightly different look. So I'm going up. I'm just imagining where that line ends. It ends a little short, but oh, I changed it back to little stitches to secure the threads, and then I forgot about it. Okay. Okay, so we're going to clip this. So I'm doing a second round, and I'm choosing to do bigger petals the second round just to see what happens. I wish I had brought down my small circle because I just thought of something I could do with that. But that little circle from the Jubilee set is my absolute favorite for connecting things, like the corners of postage stamp style quilts. I like that circle best. But because I used that recently on Metro when I was quilting it to get it in for market, I do not have it down here. It is upstairs. Right? So I'm going pretty fast because I have a BSR, but also because the leaf is an internal shape. Um, when I do the semicircles next week, I won't go quite as fast, I don't think. This leaf just has a ton of surface area, so it tends not to slip that much. Whoops, that was a jump stitch. Don't do what I just did. And I haven't pushed out. No, I have not pushed out. Well, this is looking kind of nice. The only thing I don't like is the way the center works. Whoops. Oh my gosh, you guys, I forgot to rotate. Okay. So later I would take that out. If you did this, if you forgot to rotate, because I don't have a seam ripper down here, here's what you do. Okay. You would, don't go back right now. I would rip this out later, but as I said, I think all my seam rippers are upstairs. Oh, look, I have a seam ripper. Okay, so let's watch me rip seams. Okay. So what I do is I take it, out by like every few threads, just up that area where I forgot to rotate the ruler. And then I'd start a few stitches before and kind of you either have to do tiny stitches or a little back stitch to secure the threads. So right before that point, right, that's where I'd rip. So then I come from the back side and I just pull up right to here. Now the thing is, those last threads, they're not secured. So usually I use tape to get up all this thread at the end. There's nothing actually holding it, but you could always do this. Okay. 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 So you need to start before those stitches. Okay. Why did I get jump stitches? Well, in that case, it's because I looked up to see your comments, and at the same time, I came off the BSR, but I didn't stop moving my hands. I looked up to see the comments without thinking. What I really need to do is stop sewing, then look up and see the comments. So I like came off the foot pedal momentarily, and that's why I got it. And that sometimes happens to me in live streams. It's just a lot, especially, when I do these live streams by myself. I have the different camera going. I have the different cameras going, and I just have a lot going on here. And so a lot of times when I have to think about what I'm saying, it actually can screw up my quilting because it's like a different part of your brain that does the visual stuff and the auditory stuff. So, I mean, it shouldn't have happened, but sometimes things happen because I'm trying to do too many things at once. I always feel like that, if I let that stop me though, you guys would get no thank quilt Thursdays. I always feel like on these, I don't quilt very well. Like I don't think I do sometimes because I lose kind of, it's like only half my brain's thinking about quilting, the other half is thinking about talking. But it's something I started during the pandemic, and it became so popular and so linked to my business that like I really couldn't just stop. But yeah, it drives me crazy sometimes. We're gonna have to figure out what to do in the middle, guys. Okay. Okay, and then at the end, I'm doing tiny little stitches. Now, to be honest, I told you guys I wished I had quilted that first because I think it would look cleaner. But since I didn't, let's do it. So I'm going to look for the semicircle ruler that says 4 inches because I happen to have the semicircles down here. 6 inches, 2 inches, 4 inches, 2.5, 5.5, 3. Okay. Here's the one that says 4. Because I know I drew a 4-inch circle to begin with. And see how it's a little off because the quilting has drawn it in. But that's okay because all I really need is I need to use its curve. So because I didn't need to do those tiny stitches. What am I doing today? Okay. So I'm just kind of using the curve to connect these points. So if it's not exactly 4 inches anymore because of all the quilting, if the fabric isn't 4 inches, that's not bothering me. It would have been way closer to 4 inches when I first started the quilting. Okay, so I like kind of what this is doing. It's like making a big sunflower. I think maybe there needs to be some more quilting in the center. And maybe that quilting is a 3-inch circle and then I connect it with triangles. So, I'd encourage you when you're doing your practice pieces, whoops, to kind of like take risks on what you're doing, because I mean, that's why they're there. They're practice pieces, right? Okay, so here's a 3-inch circle. And what I'm going to do, is that what I want? Maybe I want a 2.5-inch circle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is quilt a 2.5-inch circle inside this, and it's going to be kind of linked to this one because I'm going to quilt triangles to link them. So I don't think I'm explaining this very well. I want to quilt a circle inside here, and then I'm going to quilt a bunch of kind of triangles going around kind of the border of this between the two circles. So when I do the triangles, I'm going to have some straight lines as part of those triangles. And so if I wanted to, I could just, quilt in about 3/4 of an inch here towards the center and then hook on this circle. And what I can use for alignment, oh, don't do what I did. I really wanted it to be smaller. Let me go down to a 2-inch circle. I think I have a 2-inch circle in here. Okay, so I need to be at the point, yep, where all these, you see how I need to go maybe one more stitch. The 90-degree lines lining up on a spoke, and these lines are lining up on a spoke, and now I can quilt around this full circle. And then I'll go the other way. Okay, so now becomes the time when I am going to quilt. Actually, I will hold on to this one. Okay, I'm going to quilt kind of triangles around this whole thing. So I'm going to go up to this point and then down toward the center, but I'm not actually coming into the center. Then up to the next point. Then I'm in line with that center. Do you see how the center is a 1/4 inch away from the edge of my ruler? On a Jubilee, you can actually, in the Jubilee ruler, you can, or the Every Angle Plus, you can use that line as a cheater line. I'm headed towards it, but I'm stopping. This is a very skinny triangle. If I wanted wider triangles, I could just connect like this to the next 2 lines over instead of just to one line. This was marked, I just saw a comment, this was marked with a washable away pen. My preference is white chalk, the white chalk aligners, but oftentimes on camera I do something that you guys can see better. Or sometimes you're doing a white quilt and you can't use white chalk because you can't see it. But in general, with the blue wash away pens, I spray them out right away, and then I would dry it face down onto a towel, so any of that blue ink, that residue, would dry into the towel. I never use the colored chalks. They're so hard to get out, so I don't use those. I'm just thinking, did I do this right? 1, 2, 3. I guess I did. Something's looking off to me, but you rotate it and then it looks upside down to you, but hopefully I did it right. That would be embarrassing, right? Now, I'll be looking up in a minute, so put any questions you might have up there. If you're nervous about free motion, rulers are a great way to play with different designs. Now, in there, I went in too far, so I'm back tacking a little bit because later I'm going to rip out the stitches where I went in too far. See what I mean about talking while you're sewing? But do you see how then I went over it just again? So when I rip out those little stitches, it won't matter. Now this last line, I'm going to let be little stitches to secure the threads. And now needle up, press your foot up, and end my thread. And while I'm taking out those two little stitches that are annoying me, you guys can ask questions. Looking forward to the class at Quilt Festival next week. Yes, we will have fun. It will be fun to be at festival again. I'm not going to market this year. Benartex downsized their booth, and without having more booth space, it just isn't worth it. So if there are shops out there going and you miss me, that's why. But I don't know. Market's getting smaller and smaller each year, so it's just an expensive proposition. So let's see. So that's the motif we did today, a kind of big sundial. So just going over it again. I guess I did a 2-inch circle and a 4-inch circle in the end, and a little triangle design in it. And here I did a series of smaller leaves and then a series of bigger leaves just to give it more interest. Um, if I wanted to, I certainly could add free motion in like these interior leaves. I don't really think it needs it, but I could. And of course, you could echo around these. Probably the easiest thing would be is to use my curve set or the semicircle set for that. Find a curve with a similar, or you could use the interior of the leaf itself, the bigger leaf, and just kind of fudge around. So that's a little harder because you have to anticipate being a quarter inch away on the inside rather than the outside. Let's see. Okay, let me go back and turn off my camera. And I can hear my husband is ready to go beg for muffins. I told you guys, like a lot rides on these muffins. So, okay, at the coffee shop that we go to on Thursdays. I just had my Q24 installed last week. So go ahead. If I did not answer your question, please ask the question at the end of the chat because, as I said, I can't see all the questions. If you just had your Q24 and you wonder if any, well, I think if a must, obviously, I'm going to say is a ruler base, okay, for a Q24. Um, I also really like the laser light that you can get that aims down at the quilting area. I don't have it installed on this one, but I do have it upstairs. And it aims down and shows you where the needle goes into the quilting area. So I like both of those. But there's a lot of accessories you can get. It's nice to have the horizontal spool pin. I mean, there's a lot of accessories you can get for the Q24. Looking for, let's see. Yes. Yeah, I don't edit out mistakes here, guys, because I just don't have time. But it's good to see how to fix them anyway. Again, like you saw that I just ripped out to a certain point and then kind of back tacked to secure that thread. That is not how the quilt judges want you to do it. They'd want you to rip all the way out, then bury the thread, then start a thread and bury those threads right in the same spot. But I don't have time. I'm really not interested in ripping. You saw I ripped that one thing, but uh, I don't do juried quilt shows, so that's how I quilt. You need a silicone and then this seam ripper. I pulled the top thread and ripped the thread. Why do I get jump stitches? Another reason you could get jump stitches is because you're starting your hands and feet at the same time on a sit down. That will always get you jump stitches. You should not move your hands until you see the needle move. But the reason I got jump stitches that time was when I looked up, I came off the foot pedal when I looked up and but my hands were still moving and that's what gave that jump stitch. Okay, it says new messages down here. Oh yeah, if you have the gift box, I think most of the accessories come in the gift box. There's a new gift box too that's even bigger. So I don't know which one you have, but a lot of accessories come in the gift box. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so you guys, I will not see you next week or the following week. I'll see you this, let me look up when this is. Oh, so next week, I'll see you on the 14th of November, which is actually the second Thursday of the month. And then we'll do the 21st, which is the normal third Thursday, okay? Um, as I said, if your dealer doesn't have this fabric, I still have some kits. I have kits for the applique quilts. If your dealer doesn't have the fabric, of course, I always support buying from your dealer when they do. For You guys know to write me if you're buying a machine. And I think that's it. Okay. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.